Hello, my name is Karsten Fogh Ho-Lanng. I come from NNIT. NNIT is a system integrator in the Danish and European IT services market. I'm going to talk about information management, one of the big things right now driving a lot of IT investment, but what is it really, and how can we benefit from it? We are accumulating huge amounts of data in our data centers right now, and the elephant is a good picture of that, and especially it's a good picture because we all know how to eat an elephant. It has to be done one bite at a time, and it's actually the same thing with data. If we try to control data as one big chunk, then we don't get much out of it, and we certainly will lose our focus. But if we eat one bit at a time, we can still digest and we can still make value from it. So important thing that we create value based on data. So let's take the hype out of big data. We hear a lot about big data and cloud and other things that the IT industry comes up with to explain the new possibilities. And certainly we are accumulating a lot of data, and it is becoming, we see exponential growth in amounts of data in companies and in society. And we do see a lot of very big databases that needs to have new technology to, in order for us to search, in order for us to master this. Take big bases like Facebook or Flickr or other from the social network side, where we have to search in huge amounts of data, and we expect still to find an answer immediately. And of course, that requires new technology. But again, big data is not a solution. Big data is not something that we in itself have to go out and buy a solution for. Big data is just a way and try to explain that we have to find a way to create value from data. We differentiate between 4 different types of data in 2 categories. First of all, we have structured and unstructured data. Structured data are the things that we can count. Unstructured data are the things that we have to search for in terms of, that could be videos, that could be Word documents, that could be presentations, that could be phone conversations, stuff that contains value, that contains data, but something that we cannot count it in the way that we can usually do with the data that we are getting quite good at mastering. That's the structured data. Internal structured data is the data that we find in the ERP systems, in the CRM systems, where we can put 2 lines underneath and say this is the result, and in total we get this amount. But that only accounts for 20% of the data in a company. The rest is unstructured data, and there's a lot of value in there, and we have to find a way to get that out, because we may find the key to new competitive advantage in those data. The other 2 categories of data are also structured and unstructured, but those are external data. We also want to find a way to include, for instance, external market statistics. That's the structured external data, or information from Facebook or from Twitter or other places that on the internet that also contains information and value that we would like to make use of when we make decisions within the company. So 4 different types of data, and right now, really, we are only almost controlling one of the 4. And that's the old one, the one that we've been controlling with the business intelligence tools that we've been working with. And just to put that right, the difference between information management that we're talking about and business intelligence, to me, the difference is business intelligence is a subcategory of information management. Information management is about controlling the complete value chain from the output, from the value that we create with our customers or within our business, and all the way down to our databases, to our storage systems, to the hardware where we store, and we have to control the full value chain here. And that's information management. And we have to take all of that into consideration when we build solutions in information management. Because we have to add computing power, and we have to add business intelligence to create the value. So business intelligence is a part of this full value chain. We also see a development in the purpose of looking at data. It used to be we want to get the report of what happened last month. Well, we actually still get quite a lot of those. This is the financial statement from last month, or this is the customer development from last month. And that's of course nice to know, but the world surrounding us is developing so fast that very often this is not enough. We have to look at the next step. We have to analyze why did it happen. And what we see now is that we also want to know what's happening right now. We want real-time analytics that can give us the answer to my competitor is changing his price like this. What is the expected impact on my business, on my profit when he does that? And I have to get the answer right now and not next month or tomorrow, but I need it now because I need to react now. Otherwise, I could lose market share, I could lose customers, and the data has to be ready to do that. That requires computing power, that requires information management, and it requires that we deal with this. And next step from there is that we do not only want to know what's happening now, we also want to know what is going to happen. We want to predict what's going to happen in the future. And we have done that, of course, in a lot of areas for some time. We have been doing sales forecasts. That's based on data, and we can see, based on the usual win rate, we'll get this in our books by the end of the month. That is analysis of what is going to happen. But we want to take that further. We want to take that to where we can also, for instance, control and automate our business based on that. One example could be the ice cream factory. We could expect that ice cream sales is related to weather. So why not use the weather forecast as input in our data model and let data and the history of data that we have collected through times decide on the production level this month. Instead of having the production manager guessing or based on his knowledge saying that it's maybe 80% index this month, or this week, we should let the computer, let the analysis decide that it's actually 78.2. That's the index that we should hit, because that's the most precise number that we can get based on historical data. So if we can use this to create competitive advantage, if we can use this to create automation of our business, then we are starting to get real value from our data. We've also taken a look at how ready are Danish companies. And without getting too much into the percentages, to the numbers, well, we can see that one statement is that yes, data is absolutely an asset. This is valuable. This is a strategic asset for our company. But we're not really satisfied with the level of quality that we get out of it. We are not satisfied with the data or the information that we can get from the data that we have. And we do see a lot of challenges, and I'll get back to those in a minute, related to managing data. So the evaluation from the companies themselves is that we know that this is an asset, but we don't really know what to do with it. We know that this can mature even more before we get value from it. The barriers, the challenges that our companies see are in 4 categories. Competencies, having the right competence on board in the IT department to manage data. Having the right tools, having the right infrastructure is also a problem. Of course, cost is an issue, mainly because we don't really know the business case. We don't know what's coming out of it afterwards. And then the data quality. We know that garbage in, garbage out. So if we are not very good at registering data, at collecting data, we'll also get poor quality when we look at using the data afterwards. And we can be at different stages here, and most companies, to be honest, are at the low end of these stairs. Just looking at problems with using data and managing it, but we know that we can use data to create something different, to change the customer experience, to automate our business. We just have to find out where that is. And there's some, actually quite a lot of good examples of that. If we look at information-based services where we use data to change the customer experience, to give a new service, one example is banking, where we see banks automating the process of giving a loan. Should we, can you get it or not? It's based on automated data instead of a talk with an advisor in the bank. And the automation can actually give a much more precise answer and much faster. And the bank needs to do that. Otherwise, the customer will just go somewhere else and get the loan. Another example is from our own world, where we use data to inform our customers about what's the status of their current IT operation, and present that to them in an app where that they can take anywhere. Again, using data, bring it to the customer, bring it front stage. We also see new products coming out, information-based. This example here is from Netflix that actually created a new series called House of Cards that is running only on Netflix, based on huge amounts of analysis of what would their viewers actually like to see, what would they prefer, who are their favorite actors. And based on that, they came out with House of Cards, which is now a huge success. So they are using data in order to create the right product for the customers. All data is becoming part of the products that we sell to our customers. Again, Apple and their iTunes, good example of a computer company taking the step forward and creating a digital product on top of their own physical product. That requires data, and it requires knowledge about what do the customers prefer to do that. So finally, just to give you a couple of other examples from maybe from the more heuristic side. You may know Minority Report, the movie with Tom Cruise, where he is in pre-crime, actually seeing what is going to happen in the future. Is that science fiction? Maybe. Or you maybe know Harry Potter. He has this magic map where he can see that where everybody on the castle is going. Is that magic? Well, in my opinion, no. That's just good information management. Thank you.